So just let me ask you a question. What is stopping you? You ever had something you were super excited about, but when it came time to do something about it, you just couldn't seem to get anywhere? Couldn't seem to make yourself do anything about it? Seemed to slip through your fingers and you didn't get any traction on it? It's easy to talk about, hard to act on. So what's stopping you? All right, welcome to another episode of Increase. I'm your host, Blake Anderson. Glad you're joining me here wherever you are, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Like, share, subscribe, follow. Love to hear from you, how these episodes are affecting you. Hopefully they're yielding results of increase in your life. This is the podcast where we dive into the spiritual principles that change our natural results. I'm guessing if you're listening to this, you're like me and you want more in your life. You believe that God has a plan for your life and that more is possible. And He wouldn't have put a dream inside of you unless He'd given you the tools to make it happen. But if you're like me, you're always looking for a leg up. You're always looking for a new tool, and maybe there's someone who's figured something out that you haven't. So I hope that, these spur some ideas in you, maybe get you thinking in a way that you haven't before, and hopefully you start to get results that you've never experienced. If you're just joining us, we've kind of had an impromptu mini-series about faith. And after you get done listening to this episode, go back and listen to episodes 67 and 68, as these three episodes are rounding out kind of the fundamentals of effectual faith, the fundamentals of faith that produces results. And I believe that no matter what you're attempting to do, any goal you're attempting to accomplish, next milestone you're trying to get to, it's going to engage your faith. You are going to have to understand or interact with the spiritual component of faith in order to make this possible. And there are some things that are hidden, that are unseen, that are going on inside of us that are directly affecting our faith and ability to achieve certain results. Unfortunately, faith, though the word is a simple translation of the word belief, it is complex, it is complicated, it is nuanced, it is a deep well. And it's just not quite as simple as it sounds, I'm guessing many of you can attest to. There's secrets to it. There's tips, there's tricks, there's techniques. There is a way that God has created this universe and designed you and me to become more like Christ, to become more love, and to be fruitful and to multiply. And as we learn these spiritual principles about faith and learn how to press them into and express them in our life, we'll see different results. But faith is really is pointing to the inner man. What is going on inside of you? Most of the time we're thinking about the things that we have to do physically, but we might not have meditated deeply enough on the things that we have to believe internally to be able to experience the results that we're after. So you can have the best work ethic in the world and still not get the results that you're after. You could be the most trustworthy person on the planet and still live far below your promise. So these three episodes, 67, 68, are really peeling back the veil to understand the secrets of faith and how to work them in your life. And so episode 67, we talked about worth and self-worth. Andy Elliott has a quote that I wholeheartedly believe and agree with, which is, you'll never out-earn your self-worth. What you believe about yourself dictates your faith and your results. Last week, episode 67, we talked about how to work your faith and explain that until you start to put action to your faith, until you start to act on your beliefs, you don't really believe it. And it will require, no matter how strong your belief in its possibility, until you start to act on it, you will not see it become reality. One of the quotes from last week came from a book, U Squared, where Price Pritchett, the author, says, dreams begin to crystallize into reality when they are pursued. If you want to know more about how to get your dreams to crystallize into reality, listen, watch, consume episode 68, How to Work Your Faith, and you'll find links to these in the description. But today, I want to continue this thought process and exploration into faith. So hopefully we've established, if you've listened to the past few episodes, that we've got to have our self-worth in alignment with the things that we want, because no matter how bad we want something, if we don't believe that we're worthy of it, then we're resisting it. And we're basically praying to God, don't give it to me because I'm not trustworthy of it. And then as we begin to act upon our faith, then we'll begin to see things come alive, and we'll begin to see activity, action, and results. We referenced a quantum physics principle called the observer effect. And really quickly, the observer effect, what they noticed when they were studying subatomic particles is things in the quantum realm, we would, in the Bible, would call it spiritual realm or faith realm, act very differently than in the physical realm. And the interesting thing was, when they had a subatomic particle, when they were just somewhat when they were present to the particle but not observing or looking for it, it seemed to not be present. But as soon as a human being put their attention on finding it, it would show up. And as soon as they would take their attention off of it, the subatomic particle would seemingly disappear. So as you put your attention and action into something, things come alive and they begin to show up. They respond to your faith. Like Jesus said, be it unto you as your faith. Well, you begin to understand these concepts, and now you're ready to do something about it. But I'd be remiss to think that it was really just that easy. Because I know oftentimes when we have something that we believe for and we're ready even to do something about it, there still seems to be a barrier in our way. There still seems to be some things that are stopping us, and I want to address the elephant in the room. I want to put my finger on the thing that might be stopping you today, and hopefully we start to dispel some myths, we start to bring some light into some dark places, and help give you eyes to see what might be stopping you from moving forward into your destiny and pursuing your dreams, keeping them from crystallizing into reality. So just let me ask you a question. What is stopping you? You ever had something you were super excited about? You could talk to your friends about, you can talk to your spouse about, but when it came time to do something about it, you just couldn't seem to get anywhere? Couldn't seem to make yourself do anything about it? Seemed to slip through your fingers and you didn't get any traction on it? It's easy to talk about, hard to act on. So what's stopping you? It's God's will. Maybe He just doesn't want you to be successful. Is it the marketplace? People just don't care about you, so they're stopping you. Is it your friends and family that don't want to see you be successful? Well, there might be some truth in a few of those in particular circumstances. But in general, I'm going to tell you what's stopping you. Can you guess? What is stopping you is doubt. What's stopping you is wrong beliefs. It's stinking thinking. What's really stopping us doubt. See, God's not stopping us from achieving our dreams and walking into our destiny. He created you with a plan. He put you on this earth for just the time as this. He gave you the gifts and His callings there without repentance, which means He never takes them back, which means He's placed you here specifically to accomplish specific things. And it says that He gives us the desires of our hearts. It means He's given it to you by putting it in you, and He's also going to give it to you by making it possible. So God's not stopping you. Though there might seem to be a block, I'm going to tell you the block is not God. Now, we could talk about seasons of preparation. We could talk about character building, and there's been lots of episodes as we've dove in to understanding the seasons and cycles of God. So that does play into a little bit. You'll look back a couple episodes prior to an episode that we called the map of success, and that explains the seasons of life for a human being achieving their destiny. But the reality is, it's not God in your way. God is actually directing your steps. It's not the marketplace that's stopping you either. You see, the marketplace is hungry for new ideas. The marketplace is desperate for a supply to its demand. The marketplace is always inviting fresh ideas and looking for a better mousetrap, a better way to solve a problem. Not all of us have friends and family who are our cheerleaders or ready to join our board or invest in our companies. But our friends and family, though they might doubt you, they're not stopping you either. What is really stopping us is our own self-doubt. And so I want to break that doubt down. I think it manifests in a few different ways. It feels kind of different, but in the end, it's our belief that we're not capable. It's our belief that we're not worthy. It's somewhat similar to episode 67, but I really want to tear apart some of these seeds of doubt. I really want to break down the barriers of doubt. I want to shed some light on the things that really make doubt possible and give you a framework to be able to overcome it. Because I think it's the technique to overcome doubt is really simple. But hey, I'm like anyone else. I struggle with doubt. Anytime you're trying to step into something new in your life, there's going to be doubt because you haven't been to where you're trying to get to. These are areas that have been elusive yet that you're trying to step into. And so it's a human condition. As we live in this world where fear is possible, for us to doubt, and I struggle with it too. So I'm a consumer of my own content here. I am the choir that I'm preaching to as well. This is for me as much might be for you. But here are some of the things that God has taught me on my journey and some of the techniques and understanding that I use to overcome my doubt. Because I'm like you, I'm trying to get to somewhere new. As much as I've accomplished some things and I'm proud of some of the things that I've done and what God's done in my life, I know that it's all just been preparation for the next things that He's trying to get me to do, the next rooms that He's inviting me into. But what I know about God is that He's got plans for me I haven't even considered. And the only thing really slowing down those plans is me. You know, if you're like me, I don't want to slow those plans down. My life's been hard enough already. It seems like it's taken a whole lot longer than I had planned, and I'm ready to get somewhere. So far be it from me to be the one standing in my own way, and I pray that you are ready to get out of your own way as well. So let's think about the ways that we doubt ourselves, okay? Doubt seems to kind of surface in these ways. Oftentimes we doubt our ability. You know, we're asking for a contract for something that we've never fully done before. We want a promotion to a job that we've never held. You know, we want a raise for a position that's not on our resume. So we might doubt, am I capable? Similar to that, we might doubt our own qualifications. We'll call it a lot of times in the marketplace these days imposter syndrome. We think, who are we to be given advice in this area? Who are we to step up for responsibility for this new job, this responsibility, or to give advice? Who am I to be listened to? We doubt our qualifications. Well, oftentimes we doubt what people think about us. We don't think that we doubt our approval. You know, we know that we love people and we know we have friends that love us, but when it comes to doing something new, oftentimes we might doubt that people approve of us in this new way. You know, there is some truth. Jesus said a prophet's not without honor except for his own hometown and his own people. But a lot of times it's not really the thoughts of other people holding us back. It's the fact that we let it hold us back, right? Doubt oftentimes comes in as we doubt our own motives. As our character is building, we might have a history of sin or regret. And so we wonder, are these new things that I want the right things? Does God want them for me? Are my motives pure? Doubt sometimes showed up in direction. When it's time to make a decision, you got to go left, you got to go right. Which one? I want to make the right decision. So oftentimes we doubt the direction that we're taking. We might doubt that God is giving us direction. And doubt also shows up as we sometimes doubt God's blessing or favor on our life. Because ultimately, we're not going to get anywhere great. We're not going to achieve God's plan for our life unless we have His favor and His blessing on our life. And if we doubt that He favors us or blesses us, we're going to be shy. We're going to hold back. We're not going to step in to the things that He has for us because we doubt whether He's going to go with us or not. But I want to help you overcome this doubt. Do you resonate with any of that? I want you to think for a second before we move forward. What's the next milestone in your journey? Where's the next place you're trying to get to? And what's the doubt inside that's holding you back? Which one of those that I listed seemed to resonate, seemed to kind of touch on that sore spot in your heart? As you start to dive into it, I want to give you a hint. The things that we the areas that we continue to doubt are unique to us, and they tend to be similar over and over again. And our places of doubt, oftentimes, if we're able to pinpoint its origin, it's early in our story when we were hurt, when things didn't go well. And because they didn't go where we were hurt, we judged ourselves, we blamed ourselves, and we felt that we weren't really capable. I remember a pivotal time in my life. I was 13 years old, and I was in middle school, and I came to school on Monday to find out that all my best friends, all the kids that I wanted to like me, had a party and a sleepover over the weekend that I didn't know about, and I wasn't invited. And it sounded like they had the best time, and they talked about it all day. And I feel like a couple comments were made during that day that not only reminded me what I was missing, but sowed the seed of doubt that, I'm not even liked. And there was a reason why I wasn't invited, because these people that I thought were my friends didn't really like me. And it crushed my heart. And it's something that's continued to plague me in my weak moments throughout my life, this sense that I'm not approved, that I'm not loved, that if I had anything to offer, they would have invited me. And since they didn't, I don't have anything good to offer. Now, I know now as an adult through prayer and healing in my heart that it was a small moment in time, and it really didn't mean much. And the kids weren't as mean as I remember them to be. And their thoughts towards me weren't as bad as I took it. And probably I wasn't invited because there was a limit to how many kids were allowed to come and spend the night in a small house. But I didn't remember it that way. And so it's those moments that seem minuscule, but they stick with us. And we want to believe that are in our past, but they make these really deep impressions in our heart that somewhat color or give us gray over certain things and opportunities where we start to doubt ourselves. If I was approved, then I would have been invited. And I must not be approved. And so I don't know, I just shouldn't start something new because the marketplace won't approve of me. My friends or family don't think that I'm valuable. My customers probably don't think that I'm capable of helping them. You see how those seeds of doubt can continue to stay with you, and they can keep you from moving forward. Could be that you were a victim of abuse, or your parents died when you were a young age and you felt abandoned. It's a hard thing to press into, but I'm going to tell you, if you have the courage to press into it and take your hurt to the healer, that the Holy Spirit can illuminate those moments and Jesus can heal those moments to help give you a new way to look at your life. And you can see why doubt continues to plague you. But now, as we talk about how to overcome it, you'll be able to illuminate these places that it continues to pop up so they don't hold you back anymore, so that you can step more fully into the plan that God has for you. Because he didn't give you a plan for you to stand on the sidelines and never do anything about it. You see, he put this desire in your heart and a dream and a vision for you so that you would pursue it. And he's given you everything that you need to. So how do you overcome doubt? Well, I've found through my prayer, through encouragement from God, and through doing it, that the best, quickest, strongest way to overcome doubt is with love, because doubt is a form of fear. You're afraid that something don't go well or that you won't measure up. But the Bible says that perfect love casts out all fear. And so we've got to let go of our fears and embrace love. And the most amazing thing happens is when love is present, fear is not. It cannot be present. And when you're filled with love, all the things that you are afraid of are immaterial and they're irrelevant, and they're actually not even in your periphery. And you start to see things very differently. And so how do we use love? Because it is simple, but it plays out in different ways. And here's my encouragement to you. Overcome your doubt with love. And there's three things that you can put that you need to think about. First, think about your service to others. If you're starting a new business and you doubt whether someone's going to like your product, don't worry about what they think about you. Put your attention on serving others. Because when you care about them, then what they think about you is irrelevant because your attention is on this person that you're so desperately trying to help. They're the way that love overcomes doubt and overcomes fears through creation. God said that he created man in his own image and likeness. So though our looks resemble God, but our likeness, our being resembles God. And though God reveals himself in the Bible immediately as creator. So we've been created in that likeness to be creators. And it's amazing when you start to think about the things that he's put on your heart that you want to start creating, whether it's a business, whether it's a ministry, all the doubt goes away. Because your attention goes on this problem you're trying to solve. Your attention goes on the creation of something new. I'm a field trained carpenter, and I used to wear a tool belt and swing a hammer. And when I was building houses and I was pounding nails in wood to make this frame structure come to life for a brand new house that someone might live in, it was amazing. I never doubted whether I was approved or not while I was building the house. Because as long as I put my attention on creating something else, that's an expression of love and abundance and expansion. All the things that I doubted weren't even a care in the world. And so it's a physical representation. As you're creating your business, as you're creating your ministry, or maybe you want to write a book, take your attention off of what you think people are thinking about you or whether the marketplace will like it, and just give life and light and love into that thing you're creating. And the most amazing thing happens. All those fears dispel and they go away. And this creation takes preeminence. And we just continue to pour ourselves into it. So, and then finally, you want to put your attention on your intentions, right? So hopefully your intention is to serve others. Because see, your business doesn't exist if you don't. The ministry that you want to prosper will only prosper as you serve others. This book and this music that you're creating will only have a shelf life if it serves others. So if your attention is to serve others or your intention is to create, put your attention on your intention. See, oftentimes doubt is plaguing us, and we have too much attention on things that don't even exist right now. Too much attention on what people think. Too much attention on whether I'm qualified. Too much attention on our own regrets and the things that maybe we didn't do well the first time. But as long as we're focusing on these things that we're afraid of, we're not focusing on the gift that he's put inside of us, this passion and this desire to want to build something, to want to serve others. And as you take your attention off the things you're afraid of, and you put your attention onto the things that you want to create and onto the people that you want to love and serve, all those things you're afraid of tend to go away. So when you find yourself in fear or afraid or judging yourself, remind yourself, put your attention on your intention. Put your attention on your intention. Now I want to bring this episode to a close with a public service announcement. Newsflash. No one is thinking about you. You see, no one's really thinking about you. Most of our fears and doubts are about how we're going to be received, how people perceive us, whether they think we're qualified or approved or worthy of whatever. Guess what? These people you're so concerned about how they feel and think, they're not even thinking about you. You know who they're really thinking about? They're thinking about themselves. See, we might be holding ourselves back from releasing the new soundtrack, the music, or writing the book, or starting the podcast, or launching the business because we're so worried about what people think about us. They're not. The people are thinking about themselves, right? So when you know they're not really thinking about you, they're thinking about them, that plays right into the hand of your intention. Because if you want a successful business, your intention will be on serving others. If you want a successful project, your intention is on creating something. And the service to others or the creation of something that will serve them, it feeds right into what they're concerned about, which is their needs. Because everyone is struggling with something or trying to achieve a goal or a dream. And we're always looking to the outside of us to think, is there something that can help me? Is there something that can help me? Is there something that can help me? We're actually not looking at each other, judging each other as much as we think. I don't look at your social media post and say, wow, that person's an idiot. They don't have any reason to talk about it. Really, when I read your social media post, I'm thinking, will this help me or not? If it will help me, I read it. And then if it really helps me, I'll dive in and want to hear more about what you have to say. If it doesn't help me, I'll just keep scrolling. I'm not going to think about it. You're not going to waste the time to think about whether the person talking or not should be talking. You're thinking, is what they're saying helpful to me right now? And if it is helpful, you consume it. And if it's not, you just keep moving along. See, people aren't thinking about you. They're thinking about themselves. I want to read you some helpful quotes to kind of bring this all together and hopefully give us illumination to this problem that we have with doubt. So as we illuminate the problem, this light will cast out the darkness, the love will cast out the fear, and we'll be free to create and expand and prosper and bring increase into our life. Lewis Howes says, the world is awaiting your gift. All you have to do is show up with the right intention. You see, there's a gift and calling on your life. God created you that way. Romans says that his gifts and call are without repentance, which means he's not going to take it away because you were designed specifically for it. And Lewis Howes is so aptly putting us, that's what we're waiting on, because no one has your gift but you. We're not as worried about your qualifications as we are worried about whether you can help us. And we need what you have to offer. The world is awaiting your gift. All you have to do is show up with the right intention. See, if you bring your gift to bear to the world to help someone, there'll be no limit to the help that you can give. And anytime you help someone and exchange value with a service, there's a potential for business and income and increase for that business. Danielle LaPorte says, your passion is your qualification. For those of you trying to do something new to think, I don't know if I'm qualified. It's not on my resume. I've never done this before. Why would anybody pay me to help them this way? Danielle LaPorte says they're less worried about whether you have and more worried about how much you care, right? Your passion is your qualification. And isn't that so true? I mean, yeah, we say we want an expert who's good at this, but I don't want to pay an expert who doesn't care about me, who doesn't want to see me succeed, who doesn't want to see me benefit. I need someone on my team who cares enough about me to help me get to the next level. Alan Cohen said, when your intention is clear, so is the way. You know, oftentimes we're worried about some of our doubt is, do I know the way to go? Am I doing the right things? And what Alan Cohen says, if you'll just clear your intention about why you're doing it and how you want to help people, the way will be made clear as well. Proverbs 16:9 says, a man's heart devises his way, but the Lord directeth his steps. You see, there's this co-creation, this dance between you and God as he's put the desires on your heart. And so you begin to devise your way in your heart, but he starts to put the steps together to get you there. You see, respond to this desire he's put in you, the calling on your life. What is the problem that calls out to you? Who are the people you're trying to help? If you'll just respond to helping them, God will make a way for it to grow and abound. And finally, I love what Andy Elliott says. He mainly is talking about sales, but I would put this anywhere. The person who cares the most wins. When you're concerned about whether you're qualified or not, really what you need to be concerned about is how much you care. When you wonder whether the customer should listen to you, they should listen to you because you care so much about them. The person who cares the most wins. So it's time to remove the doubt. Because the only thing holding us back is our doubt. God's not holding us back. Marketplace isn't holding us back. Our friends and family aren't holding us back. They're longing for us to bring to the world what only we can offer. The gift and call that God placed on our heart, the talents that only we have. The world is desperate for what we can bring to the table. And the only reason we don't bring it to the marketplace is because we doubt ourselves. But it's time to dispel the doubt, to remove the fear with love, to illuminate the darkness with the light of Christ, God's light and love for us, knowing that we're fearfully and wonderfully made, able to do so much. It's time to agree with God. Because people really aren't thinking about us. They're thinking about how we can help them. And I know that if you're watching this podcast, that you have something intense on your heart, a way that you want to bring value to the world. And yes, you might want to make lots of money, but you can only make lots of money if you help lots of people. So there's nothing wrong with making lots of money and abounding. But I'll tell you this, you'll never make a lot of money unless you have a genuine desire to help a lot of people. Look at some of the most successful businesses, and you'll find a business that served a lot of people very well. And I believe that God has put something specific into all of us that the world is waiting for. So let's let go of our doubt. Let's allow love and light to be the force that we create and change this world. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Increase. We'll see you next week.